Welcome in. This is the Second Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and we are mega preview potting this week's Scottish Open. Joining me to break it all down, Greg DuCharme is here, and I say to you, Greg, Guten Tag from Germany.
Oh, very cool. You said you'd be in some weird hotels.
Yes.
I can't quite tell what's going on behind you. It looks like you're in the roof. It looks like you're in an attic.
So this is actually, this is Armina's cousin's place, and there is a lot of very unique architecture in here. Where there's this house, it has this. I don't know what to call it, but the walls are like, sometimes you got to watch your head, and I'm not even that big of a guy, but it's very unique architecture. It's very, very European. It's very nice.
And I think of Germans as being quite tall, which is interesting.
We're learning that they're very sticklers about their rules, Greg. We don't want to break any rules around here. We might not get home.
Have you broken any rules already?
Not yet. No,
all right.
But I'm worried about it.
All right. Well, don't get slapped on the wrist.
Mm-hmm. How's everything else going? We were just kind of talking about before we went hot. This is a fun little 2-week stretch of whatever you want to call it. Coffee golf, stay up late, wake up early. Links style action. Like this is a fun little run.
There's a lot of talk on the PGA Tour about how it gets repetitive. All we do is play 72-hole stroke play. My thoughts on this. I think we play so much 72-hole stroke play because it's the best format. But a week like this is when all of a sudden you get a huge differentiator right away. It's on at a different time of day. The golf courses look very different. The required skill sets are very different. You see guys playing different types of shots, and it has a completely different look. And I find that to be really compelling. It's one of my favorite times of the year. I love links golf. I don't think all of it should be links, but I love the mix. And I'm a huge fan of the fact that the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour teamed up to, create a event that was a great event and make it even better. Turn it into a co-sanctioned event. I think it's great. My hope is in the future, maybe in 2028, we're able to extend this. I'd like to see the links run be a 3-week run. That's just me personally.
Interesting. And I can't remember. I think they play the Irish Open. I think they play that in the fall, like after September. I want to say, because like you see like Shane Lowry play it. Sometimes Rory will play it. So I was trying to think what would be what would be the third, if Greg DuCharme is the golf czar, what's the third leg of this links style run that we go to?
It's the Irish Open.
Oh.
It hasn't always been in September like it is now. There was a time when it was the week before the Scottish Open.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see that be part of the PGA Tour. And I would do it, like we said, Siggy Major. I'd like to see Siggy Major Siggy.
Okay.
Yeah, because look, there's a couple. One, I enjoy it. Two, I think the week after majors are really important for viewership. And coming back to the 3M Open or coming back to a week off, coming back to nothing, I think is a miss. I think the week after PGA Tours, the data I've looked at is very compelling. And the two best signature events this year have been the Travelers and the RBC Heritage. And it seems to happen year after year after year. So while I don't necessarily love the idea, I think it makes sense to take time off after a major. The data to me says something different. And I think your best bet after the Open is another links event in Ireland.
Listen, you don't have to twist my arm on that. I'll certainly be in on it. I had forgotten that the Irish Open used to kind of be, this time of year. It was not always in that fall time slot. So there is at least a little bit of precedent there. The other thing that I want to point out is there are very few events that have had it come up like the Scottish Open have had. No offense to our friends at the Aberdeen Standard Investment Scottish Open, but that was what this event was called in 2020. And 6 years later, it's co-sanctioned. Provenance I don't know what the word I'm looking for, of national opens has grown. I think we're getting some of the best players winning these things, and I feel like the Scottish Open went from what was, at least from an American perspective, way event on a secondary tour to a must watch lead in event to a major.
You no longer have a choice. You know, it used to be up against a PGA Tour event. It was often the John Deere Classic, and it's you just put yourself in a position where what are you going to do as a player? Are you going to go play in Scotland and get ready for the Open Championship? Are you going to play in the John Deere and take the charter over? Are you going to take the week off? But now it seems like this has kind of guided everybody. The co-sanctioning has guided the top players to Scotland to prepare for the Open. And it feels like it's leveled the playing field in the Open Championship as well, which is, it just makes so much more sense from a fan's perspective. It makes so much more sense from a player's perspective. And obviously it makes sense for the PGA Tour, and that makes it make sense for the DP World Tour. You know, it's great. This was one of their best events because guys were coming over to prepare for the Open. And you'd get PGA Tour players. Now you get PGA Tour players, and you get to mix some of your own in as well. It has a very special and different feel. And it starts, I think, a great swing. I don't know if you can call it a swing with just two events. That's part of my problem. You know, we should have a foreign swing, a links swing, whatever you want to call it, and play some golf over there. But you got to have three for it to be a swing, in my opinion.
I agree with you. Two is just two is a nothing burger. Three is a swing. I want to talk about the co-sanctioned nature of this event because it's creating a couple of really interesting wrinkles. But before I do that, Greg, I don't want to get lost on this thing that we've already thrown out like 3 or 4 times. We keep saying link style golf, and I feel like that phrase, and I am absolutely guilty of this, kind of throws it out describing it. You know, I think that people think one thing about links golf and maybe see something different or vice. Hey, a links swing, a links style golf course. What would you, Greg DuCharme, expect from something like that?
Well, there are official definitions of this.
Okay.
One of them is that it is on the sea. It is seaside. So links golf, there's no such thing as inland links, technically. It has to be on the sea. Now I don't know much more on the official definition, but there are some things that are synonymous with links golf. One of them is, seaside, of course, sand-based soils, which is very important because it creates firmer conditions. And generally, you see the ball played along the ground for 2 reasons. One is the wind, because you're on the sea, and there's often no trees. This one actually has some trees, but trees are not a real aspect of a link-style golf course. The bunkers tend to be pot bunkers with revetted faces, and the ball rolls into them, and they are a very different penalty than the bunkering that we see in the States or we see in inland golf courses. And typically, you see slower greens. Typically, you see flatter greens. They may be extreme in places. There may be some humps and mounds and hollows, but generally they're a little flatter and slower to accommodate for the wind. And the other aspect is the landing areas, the fairway areas, the green surrounds tend to be very natural. Most links golf courses are very old, and they didn't have a whole lot of equipment to, rake flat fairways. So there's humps and hollows and mounds in what would ordinarily be a flat landing area. It looks like they just started mowing the grass, and that's basically what they did. This one is really interesting because it was built in 2008.
Yes.
It was also built on something like the British government planted thousands of pine trees in this area on the seaside, and they had to take them all out, take a bunch of them out to build the golf course. And when they took them out, they found pure sand under the roots of the trees that they removed. So it definitely had that it has the sand-based soil before they planted all the trees. So that's why you might hear that this is not true links. That may be one of the reasons why. That you will see some trees, which is different. But I think for the most part, it checks a lot of the boxes.
You are a pro's pro, my friend. I don't think I've ever been more impressed, because I did not even think to say like, oh, is there a true definition of links golf? Like I know what I think it is. So I quick fired it in, and there are probably elements, and I think you hit every single one of them here. So location, built on naturally undulating, sandy coastal dunes. Boom, nailed it. Sand-based soil provides natural drainage, resulting in a firm, hard playing surface where shots are often meant to run along the ground rather than stop immediately. Boom, got it. This one, I can't believe you got, because never in a million years would I have thought this was a key element of link style golf. But when you're talking about how old these courses are and literally being created before the invention of the tractor, right? Like they are using horses to move sand and all this stuff. It makes sense. The environment supports fine grasses like fescue and bent, along with coarse and heather. Trees are nearly non-existent. That natural areas that you're talking about, just because of maintenance style. And then, it goes on to say things like, pop bunkers and et cetera, et cetera. But yes, there is a true link style definition. And I think, Greg, you have explained it to a T, my friend.
All right. Well, I'm glad I hit on most of it, because, or even all of it. I have read the definition before. It was just many years ago. So I guess I have the old steel trap here, if you will.
Yeah, you really do. So here's the other thing. So about the Renaissance Club, or the Renaissance Club, as you'll hear them say this week. You mentioned it, where this is, if golf courses were aged, this isn't even an infant. 2008 is a nothing burger over here, right? I mean, St. Andrews goes back to 1500s. The new course at St. Andrews is 1895. Okay, that's the new course. I love that fact. So this is 2008. It's Tom Doak. It's an American taking land, like you said, that the government planted a bunch of trees on, and he's trying to turn it into a link style golf course. Can this be done kind of unnaturally? Did they do a good job of keeping the natural undulation? Where does this fall on the spectrum of link style golf?
Well, I haven't played it, and I haven't played a lot. I haven't played the true old ancient places in Scotland, but I've seen them. I've seen them plenty of times. I've seen pictures of them. I've watched YouTube videos on them. I've watched them played on TV. And I do think when you're watching this week in the Scottish Open, you're going to see a golf course that looks like a links golf course to you. You may not know the entire definition, and there may be some experts out there who say, hey, like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's holding a beer and pointing at the TV. Yeah, that's not links. You may see some of that. Yeah, but ultimately, this is going to play like what you expect a links golf course to play like, with the exception that you will see some trees periodically. But it does get out by the coast. It does have sandy soil. It can play firm and fast. Again, that depends on the weather. We haven't seen it get really fast for the Scottish Open. We have seen it get really windy. And that first year it was a PGA Tour event with Xander Schauffele. Xander won at 7 under. It was very difficult, and it played very much like a links course. So, yeah, I think Tom Doak did a pretty good job, especially considering doing what he did is like scary to even think about. Yeah. We're going to build a new links course in Scotland.
Right.
What? No, you're not. It's going to be laughed at. It's not true links. It's too new. I mean, that time has come and gone. before Tom Doak's grandparents were alive. It's just a very hard thing to do. So I actually give him a lot of credit. I'm not sure that there are many other architects that could do what he did.
Yeah, before even old Tom Doak thought about playing golf, they were done making new link style golf courses over in Scotland. The other thing here, Greg, is the co-sanctioned nature, right? So we've got, I believe this is year number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the co-sanctioned event between the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour, and I think this year has created a very interesting situation because the future or lack thereof of LIV Golf is very unclear. And that means that a lot of players primarily playing on the LIV Golf Tour have gone through the processes to pay their fines and square up with the DP World Tour. I think Sergio has done it now, Terrell Hatton, John Rahm, et cetera, et cetera. So now we are going to see, thanks to their memberships through the DP World Tour, John Rahm, Terrell Hatton, amongst other LIV players, are going to play this week a PGA Tour non-major championship while they're still on LIV. That is going to be a real thing that happens this week.
Well, there's a couple of good things. Like, one, LIV seems to be in a bad place.
Oh, and you think that's a good thing, Greg? You are just the absolute corrupt golf media.
It's a bad thing it's a good thing for this event.
Okay.
All right, because it eases tension. So there's been an ease of tension. The PGA Tour seems to be doing just fine, and even if LIV was doing just fine, it feels like the PGA Tour would be in the same place. So it doesn't feel like a threatening time like it did for so long, and that makes a huge difference. I'm also very curious about the deals with the DP World Tour, because I mean, these players literally left the DP World Tour. They resigned memberships in some cases, sued in other cases, refused to pay fines. Some of them had their fines paid for them.
Mm-hmm.
And now they are all of a sudden coming back. It's like, well, I don't know if that's, hey, this isn't looking good over here. I better try to repair these bridges that I burned. And I better do it now. That's one way to look at it. The other way is, hey, maybe I can have my cake and eat it too. Maybe both of these things can work together. I'm not really sure what is truly the case. And I think for many of them, it's probably different. There's probably a pretty clear timeline. Like once they ran out of funding, who ran back to the DP World Tour and regained their membership, settled up their fines because they're saying, uh-oh. I heard right. Sergio Garcia say that he's 99% sure that LIV will play next year. But at the same time, he went and got his DP World Tour membership back.
And he also said, it was such a strange quote. I might have it here because I was just reading about it. He was 99% sure it will exist, but was incredibly non-committal about what it would look like and how different it would look and how big those purses it would be and if they would still retain OWGR points and all these other trickle-down things that would happen in a new era of LIV.
And now you see the questions in the press conference. Like I saw John Rahm had a press conference. I was like, ooh. That is incredibly fascinating theater, given that we have a PGA Tour sanctioned event and John Rahm is playing in it, and LIV has run out of funding. This is going to be like fireworks, and yet he wasn't really asked a whole lot of tough questions on it. The toughest question was probably, have they asked you to put in your money?
Right.
He said no. Would you if they did? If they did ask? That's a really hard question to answer. Because one, you don't want them to ask you for your money.
Right.
Well, here's the deal. we're going to pay you, and then when we run out, you're going to pay us.
Right.
We'll pay you to play, then you pay us to play.
Crazy.
I mean, now, of course, that was a purely hypothetical question, but perhaps it's a look. I think the nature of those questions were a look into the softer landscape that is LIV now, because it's no longer a threat. They're holding on with everything that they can, and based on some of the figures I heard, if they achieve the $350 million investment that they're looking for, that's going to run out very quickly. Like not even a whole season.
Yeah, it's just no fathomable way that they would find an investor to keep things exactly the same. They've blown through $6 billion in the last 5 years. It's just, there is no business plan. So if they do get the 350, they're going to be like $4 million purses. Like it's just going to be completely different. And we're going to
be better to play the DP World Tour.
Well, that's the thing, and we're going to see how much guys really want to grow the game, or if it was the $25 million purses that was really helpful in growing the game for them. So we're going to find that out really quick. And the DP World Tour is kind of in like this weird spot, right? Like they have a strategic alliance with the PGA Tour, so they want to be, at least a little deferential to their partner. But at the same time, if Jon Rahm and Terrell Hatton want to play under your banner and you let them settle up their fines, like no suspension or anything else, just pay your fines and come back.
Yeah, we're not really threatened. You're not taking our players away. And our members have played. I mean, the biggest stars on the DP World Tour play the PGA Tour, and they come over to play a 4-event minimum so they can play on the Ryder Cup team. 4 events. So the competition is not the same. Right? The LIV and PGA Tour contest has much bigger issues than LIV and the DP World Tour. And so that's just the ecosystem that we live in. So, I think it makes sense. I think it probably helps the DP World Tour. It's a huge help for the LIV players. Because, the DP World Tour really could have put them in a box where you just never see these guys unless you are watching LIV, which it seems like not very many are. So, it gets them out. It gets them able to kind of work a schedule and feel what a normal tour event, a traditional tour event looks like, feels like, and kind of stay in touch that way. This is a bizarre week to me because it has been so friendly and so calm, and it's been celebrated.
I don't have anything to add. I don't have anything to dispute with that. Scotty Scheffler is your favorite, about 5-1 to win this golf tournament. Rory McIlroy in the 10-1 department. Jon Rahm, the third favorite at 16-1, with Xander Schauffele, Tommy Fleetwood, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Ludwig Oberg clogging up the sub 20-1 spots. But Greg, there are guys who are hotter than you can imagine. Wyndham Clark is lurking. Chris Goddard is your defending champion, coming off of a win last week. Victor Hovland just won his most recent start. It seems like some of the guys that had been struggling, let's call it Hovland, and some of the guys that are, and throw Wyndham Clark in there as well, though he's been back for 4 months or so, are all just catching fire right now.
It's a very strong top of the board. And the game is very strong. I was going through some trends for the Open next week, and it's pretty exciting. But looking at it, they're almost identical to the trends last year. They basically are. A couple numbers had to be inched in a direction. They're basically the same, and it's just there are so many guys that meet them, and they are so strong and playing so well right now, and there's a huge handful of them. And really, these are the guys that have won this event since it became PGA Tour co-sanctioned. It's Xander Schauffele, Rory McIlroy, Robert McIntyre. And Chris Gotterup, kind of the kid that came out of nowhere, has proven that that wasn't out of nowhere at all. That was just a jumping off point for him. So it's like heavy hitters win here at the Renaissance Club, and heavy hitters seem to win Open Championships as well. And you got the heavy hitters here playing this week, which is really cool.
Yeah, well, let's start naming some names here. So we'll do it in a variety of fashions here. We have the grid and we have our one and done picks. Plus, we've got a little bit of fantasy action on the other end. So let's get into it, Greg. We've got a matchup, a finishing position, two separate outrights. Mark did indeed phone in his picks just under the wire with a few minutes to spare. Mina has compiled them into a grid and she's going to release them right now. Thank you very much. All right, here we go. Eclectic little grid. And Greg, speak of the devil, speak of a past champion, speak of a LIV golfer. You have one over another in a matchup.
I have Robert McIntyre over Tyrrell Hatton. I'm sorry, I have Tyrrell Hatton over Robert McIntyre.
There you go.
I am, curious. Robert McIntyre has been, maybe there's a way you could see it as a trend in the right direction. He played pretty well in Canada and pretty well at the Travelers, but it just hasn't been very impressive to me. A lot of his numbers have been down this year. He's kind of been struggling in a lot of ways. So there's the angle of links golf could be just what he needs, but I don't think he's flying on all cylinders right now, where Tyrrell Hatton just finished 7th at the U.S. Open. He finished 3rd at the Masters earlier this year. He has put together some really good golf, and he's put up great numbers on LIV Golf as well. So I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Hatton, and I feel like this is a great spot for him. He played well here when he was a PGA Tour member or a DP World Tour member. He played really well here. I like Hatton on the links, and so I think that kind of gets evened out, and he's probably playing a little better than McIntyre.
Hatton also has he's won the Alfred Dunhill links, I think, 3 times, which is that 3-course rotation with the old course and Carnoustie, and the other one that I always play, Kingsbarn, I think, is the third one that they use. And so he knows how to play link style golf. He won at Valderrama the week or the start before the U.S. Open, before he finished T7. So yeah, the game is certainly trending right now. Greg has him at minus Robert McIntyre. Mark has Nikolai Højgaard over Patrick Cantlay. That is even money. And I have Eugenio Chacarra over Pearson Coody. Chacarra has just been red hot. He's got 2 wins here recently on the DP World Tour. He was one of the guys who went to LIV and then didn't re-sign and has been working his way back. And now is I don't have the standings in front of me, but must be dangerously close to grabbing his PGA Tour card for next year with a couple of wins on the DP World Tour. So I just think these guys are headed in 2 completely different directions.
It does feel like that because Pearson Coody started the year so hot, and it's just kind of slipped away a little bit, which happens. But now's the time to take a chance because Chacarra, to your point, is on fire right now. And you know what kind of pedigree he had coming out of college. So he could be the real deal.
Yeah, he is third. He is third right now on the DP World Tour behind Patrick Reed and Rory McIlroy. So I guess technically he is second because Rory is not going to take one of those cards from him. So he looks like he is in line to get his PGA Tour card back. Finishing positions. We've got a 40, a 30, and a 20. Let's work our way down from there. Brian Harman for Mark, top 40 plus 122. I imagine it goes something like this. Brian Harman, I saw what he did at Royal Liverpool. That golf course is also in England. He's a link style specialist, knows how to run away with it over there. I think he's going to be ready to stick it to that media once again for calling him Hunter Harman.
And all the waggles, too. Don't forget the waggles, Mark. For a top 40, I think there's a really good chance of that. It's felt like Brian Harman's really close lately. It hasn't quite come through, but it could at any point.
Closer to the top of the board is a top 30 for you, Greg. Who is it, please?
Yes, for me, it is Corey Connors for a top 30. Now, Corey Connors is showing signs that his ball striking's coming back. He hit the ball really well at the U.S. Open, gained 5 shots on approach, gained nearly 3 at the Travelers, and the putter has now become the problem, which is right where you want Corey Connors to be. Now, in his last 4 trips to the Renaissance Club, he's gained strokes putting. This was a phenomenon back in the Sony Open days. There's a place where he just always seemed to putt well. Well, this is one of them for Corey Connors, and I think he can handle a top 30.
If he does, it'll be worth plus 186. I'm going top 20 for Aaron Rai, plus 205. Aaron Rai, funny little nugget here, has won this event. He did it in 2020 when it was just a DP World Tour event. He is much better now. Game continues to trend, continues to play well week in, week out. He is plus 205 to finish on the first 2 pages of the leaderboard.
Huge fan of that. It's like he didn't even win the PGA. The odds makers just don't care.
They don't care. They really do not care. They're like, Aaron whom? Oh, Aaron Rai. No, get out of town.
Take advantage.
Now, outrights. There's a lot of overlap here. Greg, you and I have a golfer at 33-1 that we share, and I would like for you to reveal who that person is.
Yeah, it's Wyndham Clark.
Yeah.
Are you serious? 33-1? He just won the U.S. Open and finished 5th at the Travelers with a triple on his card. I mean, this is crazy to me. And he has a great record here, too. Every finish for Wyndham Clark has been between 10th and 25th. It's a perfect setup for him. It really values distance. It favors distance here. I think it's because the fairways are so hard to hit. Everybody misses them. I mean, the field hit 48% of the fairways last year. This is kind of like a winged foot effect. And he is the hottest putter on tour. He putts aggressively. It'll work on slow greens. I just think this is a perfect, and next week, these 2 weeks are perfect setup for Wyndham Clark. And I have a feeling you're not going to get 33-1 odds on him at the Open.
Yeah, I did a double take. I was like 33-1 at an event. Like you said, he's played great. He is the last 5. He's the hottest man on the planet. Since April 1st, he's like the second hottest man on the planet. I mean, just refuses to give up any ground. The cup must look like a 5-gallon bucket to him at this point. I mean, he's making everything. So yeah, I've succumbed to it, but I think we've got a pretty good number here. 33-1 on Wyndham Clark.
Yeah, it's a great number. Great number.
Mark also has a player at 33-1. It's Terrell Hatton. So things that we echoed about Terrell obviously found their way into Mark's brain as well. He's picked him in the outright market. Also, Mark and I have shared Rory McIlroy. He's getting in to 10-1. I did put a decent bit of emphasis this week, Greg, on the history around the Renaissance Club, and you're going to find a lot of good history here. We talked about it a little bit on the Sunday show. There's just might be 10 guys who have like a very strong history at this venue, and Rory is certainly one of them, especially over the last 3 since this has become a co-sanctioned event. He's got to win a 4th place finish and a runner-up finish. So Mark and I have gone with Rory, but you have opted for a different man at the top of the board.
Yes, who also has strong history. Back-to-back top 10s. This is Scotty Scheffler, who is, mark my words, he is going to end the season number 1 in strokes gained approach.
Okay.
Right now he's 8th. He was like 108th or like 5 weeks into the season. You know, it was terrible. And it's just, he's just starting to look like Scotty Scheffler again. So I think the golf swing is in order. And you know about his results and his finishes. They're always there. He's going to break through at one point, and I'm not going to have somebody else on my grid when he does. So expect it here. Expect it next week. You could probably expect it for the remainder of the season because he's playing the 3M as well. So I guess he's going to take the Wyndham off. That'll be the only time you see two other names other than Scotty Scheffler on my grid.
It might not matter, but if he does win either this week or next week, he will be like even money at the 3M Open.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be crazy.
It's a great golf course for him as well.
It might not matter. Like, even if he doesn't win, he might still be even money. But if he wins between now and then, he's going to be like, yeah, he's like plus 120.
Yeah. And he'll probably win.
Yeah, he probably will. So 2 of us have Wyndham. 2 of us have Rory. 1 has Hatton. 1 has Scotty. Let us continue this conversation onto the one and done section. So Mina has now correct. We've got the correct, most accurate, up-to-date numbers here. Mark is at 10 million. Mina's at 7.2. I'm at 6.8. Greg is at 3.7. And we need to release the silhouettes. There. I know Mark's.
Okay. I know Mark's as well.
I think I know yours.
Mark's looks like Goddard.
Mark's has to be Goddard.
You had Wyndham Clark, didn't you?
I think I did.
You dog. Mina has gone with the past champion, it looks like.
Did you?
Well, let's.
Oh, okay. All right. She's like, just reveal them. Okay. All right. Greg, your one and done selection for this week is
Tyrrell Hatton.
Yeah, I knew that one.
Yeah. It just feels like a free space. Like he's playing great, and I could use a LIV guy right now. It's pretty simple. Pretty simple. I'd want to save my ammunition for some reason.
Well, yeah, we were expecting to get the LIV guy. At least some of them. So Tyrrell Hatton makes his way into the grid. And I think he and Rahm might be pretty popular this week. We'll see. I don't know how much they've been used for the first couple of major championships. But you're absolutely right. I did go with Wyndham Clark for all the reasons that we just talked about. And I want to ride a hot hand. I'm ready. Let's go. Don't fail me now, Mr. Wyndham.
Too perfect. I can't believe I don't have him available. I used him before the U.S. Open. Are you kidding me?
Let's see. You played him. You were early. You saw it coming.
I saw
Houston.
it coming.
You played him at Houston. You got $0. Pathetic. Mark has gone with, it better be Chris Goddard, and it is. Okay, so he's going for the back-to-back and back-to-back, a guy to win 2 straight weeks and a guy to successfully defend his title. That would be Chris Goddard. And then Mina. So wait, hold on, Greg. Who did you? Oh,
yeah, that was it.
That's who you thought it was?
Yeah.
All right. It's Robert McIntyre for those who are just listening. The past champion. Why did you go with Robert McIntyre? She just used Pool Genius. She's lame.
AI said McIntyre.
Hatton for Greg. I'm Wyndham Clark. Mark has gone with Goddard. Mina's gone with McIntyre. So 4 different selections for a $9 million purse. Not a huge one, Greg, but every dollar counts at this point.
Yeah, that is. It feels like it's a huge one because all the guys are here, but it's not. That's another reason I went Hatton. Because even though the LIV guys will be available next week, I have no clue what I'm going to do for next week anyway. But I want as many options as I can have.
Let's transition to the fantasy portion of the show. This is where Greg has gone through and he has made a short list of golfers at each one of the pricing tiers on DraftKings, and then he and I will discuss them. But before we do that, it must be done. The Greg's golfer of the week, the guy that Greg cannot live without. He considers everything, considers salary and ownership and how well they're playing and course history and everything else you could possibly imagine. And for this week, Greg has gone with
Wyndham Clark.
Yeah, come on. If you're paying attention, you know.
It feels like the perfect golf course for him. If there's one thing he struggles with, it's driving accuracy, And like I said, everybody will struggle with driving accuracy. You might see that it was the hardest course to hit fairways on tour last year. And that benefits the long hitters, right? This is something we've learned over the last 10 years. It doesn't benefit straight hitters because it's hard to hit fairways. It means that everyone will miss them. So that gives Wyndham, it's almost like when Rory can't hit driver because the golf course is so short, it takes away his biggest advantage. This takes away Wyndham's biggest weakness relative to the rest of the field. His iron play can get extremely hot. He's gained over 3 strokes in 3 out of his last 5 events approaching the green. And even if he lost 3 strokes approaching the green at the Travelers and finished tied 5th with a triple. Mm-hmm. And the ball that the triple didn't come from an approach shot. It came from a tee shot. So he can get it done in a lot of different ways. And I think this is just a perfect setup for him.
You're not going to get any arguments here. Let's go to the top of the board. We've got a couple of thoroughbreds. You mentioned Scotty Scheffler, Greg. He is $14,000 this week. We've seen him be more expensive, but have you had a chance to try to kind of work him in? You think it's possible to make some decent lineups with him still at the $14,000 mark?
Yes. I do think it's hard, and I think you got to have a little fun with the DP World Tour guys. Right, you got to find some 6K guys for sure. I do think that the 7K range has some really strong options. So there's a lot of guys you're going to skip over. Wyndham Clark's probably one of them. So that's the challenge with Scotty. But this guy delivers always. He has been the best player on tour all year. There are guys with 3 wins. There are guys with a major and another win, like Wyndham Clark. And when I look at it, I'm like, this is the player of the year. He's been the best player all year. And the wins haven't fallen his way yet. They will at some point. Even if they don't, you lock in a top 5 for him right now. So, I don't really see how this could go poorly for Mr. Scheffler. I think we're heading into a pretty red hot Scheffler run to end the season.
I agree with that. We've said it. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. It's win luck. It's win luck. It's win luck. Scotty Scheffler has just been dominant in a way that he really has been for the last couple of years. It hasn't resulted in victories, but still time left. If you want to save $2,000, Greg, you can go with Rory McIlroy, which would make things a little bit easier throughout the rest of the line.
Yeah, and it is a legitimate option, right? This is a tough decision to make. I would probably go Scotty, but I wouldn't think you're crazy. The real reason is what you just went to, the course history. 3 straight top 5s here is pretty stout. I also saw a video that has stuck with me. We haven't seen Rory since the U.S. Open, and I believe it was during the Travelers. Nick Faldo ran into him at Birkdale.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So maybe Rory isn't just taking time off. Maybe he's running the Jack Nicklaus playbook, which is go get prepared for majors at the course where you're going to play the major. Like that idea, that concept has kind of been taken away from the tour player because there are so many points to be had and big events right around majors, and your ability to go spend time and get familiar with the major championship venue has been limited. And Rory's like, yeah, I'm doing it. So I think he's spent more time than any of the PGA Tour players overseas already. And while most of the players are using this week to get acclimated for next week, Rory's been acclimated for 2 weeks already. And now he comes into a place where he's played and performed at a very high level.
I'll repeat it again for those who are just joining us. Last 3 years for Rory at this golf course, a win, a T4, and a T2. Mr. McIlroy is $12,000. He is $2,000 cheaper than Scotty. Now, this one I'm interested in. You have Wyndham Clark, obviously, here in your 9K range, as expected. But let's talk about Matt Fitzpatrick, who is right up there, Greg, with other, player of the year candidates. The game has been sound. What is it about Fitzpatrick that he gets so he's getting the Scotty, Rory, Wyndham treatment right now in this range?
Yeah, these are the Scotty, Rory, Wyndham, and Fitz. You got to choose between one of those guys. And I may be even tempted to go Fitz and Wyndham because I think they're playing that well. And that could be that's a very fun lineup to make. It's just so hard for me to not click on Scotty Scheffler's name. But that would be another great option. He's gained 2 or more strokes on approach in 9 of his last 10 events. That's ridiculous. The short game's very difficult around here, and he's gained 4 or more strokes around the green in 3 of his last 4, and 2 or more around the green in 9 of 10. So I often look at approach and putting in birdie fests. A place like this, I look more at approach and around the green. And Matt Fitzpatrick dominates both of those. He's first on tour in strokes gained around the green, second on tour in strokes gained approach. This is stout. And his brother has called him a driving cheat code before and said he's the best driver of the ball in the game. Maybe that's bias. Probably is, but it's also probably not far off.
Yeah, he's probably top 5, but also we live in a world where Rory McIlroy exists, so
yeah,
it's not far off.
And Scotty Scheffler,
yeah, and Bryson DeChambeau at times.
Yeah.
The thing that I find so interesting about Matt Fitzpatrick is that if you watch him, I think the left hand low, the cross-handed chipping looks so clunky. I hate the way it looks. It never looks that good to me, yet it is incredibly effective for all the reasons that you laid out.
Yeah, he's dominant with the short game.
Yeah.
It works better than anyone else's technique, which is wild. But when I see it, I think that's great for low shots. That's what it looks like to me. This would be really advantageous to drive the ball in low. What do you need to do in links golf? Drive the ball in low. Got to keep it down. So I think that technique could even perform better around the links.
And we've got the definition of the links, so we know this is close enough. I think this is one of them. The 8K range, Greg, you've given me one little name. Very little. You just gave me his initials. Who is it?
JT.
I'm assuming that's Justin Thomas.
Thomas?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. It is. He should play. He should be a great links player.
Yeah. Should.
Perhaps I'm holding on to that. It seems like it's built for him. He's so creative. He hits so many different shots into the greens. He hits so many different shots around the greens. But ultimately, I think his game looks like it's rounding into form. It's not there yet. It's not at the level of Wyndham, Fitz, Scheffler, McIlroy right now. It's nowhere close. Yet he has still finished in the top 25 in every event since, it's a lot in a row. You got to go back to Harbor Town to find him finishing outside the top 25. It hasn't been serious contention, but again, this is one of those situations where you put a 1 on the end of it, and all of a sudden it looks like, oh, we should have seen this coming. It's 23rd, 13th, 4th, 13th, 19th, 17th, 14th. Oh, yeah, okay, this guy was playing really well. I'm impressed with his putter. I think it's been much more consistent. His short game is elite, one of the best on the PGA Tour. And I think there's a good chance you see a pretty strong approach play performance from him.
I'll need just like 1.5 good rounds before I bet him to win the Open Championship. I don't need much because I'm with you. Just like this guy should dominate links golf.
You're on the edge with me.
And it hasn't happened, but I don't need much. I'm ready to do it again.
If I jump in the pool, maybe you will too.
Exactly. So just give me like 27 good holes out of JT, and I'll find a way. Moving on down, the 7K range has 3 names on a short list, and if we mentioned one Fitzpatrick, we got to mention the other. This is Alex.
Yeah, this feels like it feels wrong. I don't know why he's in the $7,000 range for this. I don't know why he's behind Brooks Koepka. I don't know why he's behind Nikolai Højgaard. I don't know why he's behind Harris English and Kurt Kitayama. I don't understand why he's priced the way he is. I certainly want to take advantage of it. You're talking about, well, let's say this. Maybe the reason is he's missed 2 cuts at the Renaissance Club. But I think he was just a very different player than he is now when he was playing there. So I think that's like out of the question. He came and tied 17th in his only Open championship. It's 6 top 25 since his win in 7 events. He just continues to perform, and he does it with the ball striking. I think this is just another great spot for Fitz.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically the driving cheat code, not his brother. There's plenty of great driving to go around in that family. He's $7,900. Give me another name in this 7K range, Greg, that we can work with.
Yeah, how about Tom Kim? I am very impressed with what I've seen out of Tom Kim. And where is he? Oh, there he is, 7,600.
76.
Yeah, we can't leave Tom Kim out. He had, I looked at 2021 to 2025 on your site with a minimum of 2 starts, I believe, at the Renaissance Club, and he was second out of anybody. Rory was the only one better who's won. And Tom Kim, all he does is finish in the top 15. He definitely gets links golf. The iron play has been very strong lately. His last 3 events, he's gained 3 or more strokes. He's gained strokes approaching the green in 5 straight events. That's actually 6. Poor counting by me. The short game and putting are coming around. I think last week's performance was just kind of weak. He didn't putt very well at the John Deere. It doesn't scare me at all on a golf course like this. If there's one thing you worry about, it's distance with him. But I think his record proves that's not a big deal.
If you're worried about distance with Tom Kim, you might not be. You're certainly not going to be worried about it from this man, Aldrich Potgieter, who might be the longest man on the planet, at least at the professional level.
Yeah, this is more of a risky pick, but I'm willing to take a shot at it. You know, you're talking about the last 3 winners here. We had ShotLink for the last 3 years here. Goddard, Rory, and McIntyre. They were all top 9 in strokes gained off the tee in the week of their win, and 2 of them were first. Rory and Goddard were first. Aldrich Potgieter could lead the field off the tee this week. And I think the rest of his game is rounded into form. Look, he did miss the cut at the John Deere Classic. But sometimes in these DFS games, you got to take a shot. I think all in all, his putting over the last 2 months has gotten a lot better. I think he's really figured something out there. That's a good sign. Short game worries me, but it has been better in the last 3 weeks. I think his game's getting more complete.
I think it is too. The fitness that he's been in this year. I mean, he's down 35 pounds. Been really sharp. He is not that just one skill player anymore, and he is right there at $7,000. Is Aldrich Potgieter. Wiesberger.
Yes, this is so a couple of years ago, Bernd Wiesberger, I believe it was at the Renaissance Club. This may have been somewhere else. Can you tell me what year he won the Scottish Open?
2019. Yeah, it was here.
It was here. I think he shot 61 on Sunday.
Ooh.
And I was watching him that year, and he was looking really good. And I was like, Bernd Wiesberger's he's gonna be my long shot at the Open. He's gonna be my long shot at the Open. Watch out for Wiesberger. And then he wins the Scottish. I'm like, oh, come on.
So annoying.
That really
So
ruined everything. Now I can't even mention his name because you know my rule.
That's
so I just look. This is hard because he's played all DP World Tour golf. You don't know what's the value of a stroke for the metrics. So I see a lot of great numbers approaching the green, a lot of great numbers off the tee, some pretty good putting in his last 3 events as well. I mean, it's been a really well-rounded game. The only question is, what's the exchange rate now when you're playing with PGA Tour players? So I always take that with a grain of salt with these guys because there's a handful of them that look really strong. It's probably not as good as it looks in reality, but given he's won here before, he's coming off a 3rd-place finish at the International Open, I think he makes sense at 6,800.
And if you want to go just a touch lower down to 6,600, I'm looking at the outline, and Greg, we've done it. We found a player without a headshot. I will update that, but that's where we're at here. $6,600 guy who plays primarily on the DP World Tour. It's Oliver Lindell.
Oliver Lindell. He's been playing well on the DP World Tour. Again, you don't know the value of a stroke. You don't know what the exchange rate is. I'll say it again. But it means that he's not playing bad golf. He's got a 13th at the International Open, 6th at the Open d'Italia, 2nd at the KLM Open. So his last 3 events have had really strong finishing positions. He's done it with iron play, short game, and putting. Driver seems to be a little bit of a concern. So I don't know how to really assess that, but you get what you pay for, and he's 6,600, and I'm seeing a lot of strong metrics.
A week to get creative, a week to lean into course history. I think, Greg, I think it's pretty sticky. I think it's pretty telling. What else? Is there anything else that we have not covered that is worth covering before we sign off?
I don't think there's anything else. I can't wait for this time. It feels like a 2-week tournament.
It does.
Yeah,
it really does.
It's just great. I'm psyched for you that you're there.
Yeah.
I know you'll enjoy that. I hope you get to play some more links golf.
Yeah. So I'm going to play tomorrow. It's not going to be links golf, but it's going to be the first time I ever play in Germany. And then I have a tee time. How about this? I have a tee time at Royal Wimbledon, which sounds amazing.
It better be in good shape.
And it's like during Wimbledon. It's if you lay out the greatest grass courts in tennis, you better have a great golf course.
Yeah, you must.
So I've got around there. I've got some other ones around. So yeah, it'll be. I'm so stoked. We got here. It's been a long travel day, but I'm so thrilled.
Fresh off a trip to some American links as well.
Mm-hmm,
Bandon.
Right. Yeah, I mean Tom Doak did Pacific Dunes, which is their link style golf course.
Yes.
At Bandon, which is so it's been a good run for me, Greg. You know, don't feel sorry for me. You don't have to play a little violin. I know I got it good. Okay, nobody has to tell me. I know I got it good.
Yeah, that's good. Well, you deserve it. It's fantastic. It's fantastic, and you should enjoy it. Soak it in. I'm going to be watching from here, so I'm going to be getting up early.
Yes,
moseying downstairs, taking a look at the TV, and watching some golf literally while drinking coffee. I can't wait.
I love it. We will be back. We will have to get sorted on what time the broadcast is and when we'll go, but it'll be as we've done. It's Friday post round, Sunday post round. We will get a room created for the live chat and figure out the time. So keep an eye on that. But for now, big thanks, producer Mina. She does all the hard work behind the scenes. That's Greg DuCharme. I'm Rick Gehman. This has been The Second Cut. We'll see you next time.